What are the big expenses facing your association? They're usually things like roofing, painting, and asphalt, all the things that are gradually deteriorating day by day. Every association has a unique set of major expenses in their future, so the sooner you learn how big those expenses are and when they're going to hit, the more time you have to prepare. In this portion of our Funding Reserves webinar, we'll show you the benefit of having someone on your team to tell you what's ahead. Every day, the future draws closer. Don't let it be here before you realize. There's no time to delay. And at this point in time, I got to turn the microphone over to Mark. We'll spend a few minutes helping you prepare for the reserve projects in your future.
Thank you, Robert. If it's okay with you guys, I'm going to take us back to the idea of that forest, the image of the forest out your backyard, and the mountains in the distance. They're there, they're big. And remember, just because you can't see them clearly from your vantage point does not change the fact that they are there. So I think about, let's kind of expand this image a little bit, and we're flying, let's say, across the United States from San Francisco to New York, and there are obstacles in the way, like the Rocky Mountains. It's a lot of territory. You can't see where you're going from where you start, so you need some navigational help. You need to make sure you have enough fuel, and you need to start gaining altitude well in advance of the mountains in order to get safely over the pretty significant elevation. So those mountains are a significant obstacle. They're going to get very close, very fast at the airplane speeds, but you should be able to rely on your pilot preparing in advance to smoothly gain the altitude as necessary to cross safely. This is my favorite slide in the presentation. It's a really great illustration of having to work fast to keep up. I think most of us have seen Lucy and Ethel in the chocolate factory, but I'll put the link in the clip on the outline so you can find that easily. The future is coming, and you need to keep up the pace in order to have success. Getting behind leads to chaos. It's pretty funny when it's Lucy. It's less funny when it's our own property. So getting behind means unpleasant special assessment in your community, and this sketch makes the point clear. Now, continuing along our trip, what's important in the community association world is that the board needs to appreciate that they are in the cockpit. I've seen many boards with the attitude that they are a passenger looking out the window from row 23. In reality, they are responsible for flying this plane. That's why so many associations are struggling. The board does not realize that they're flying the plane. They're in the back, living like a passenger. Fortunately, the board's not alone. You have management, you have other professionals like reserve study preparers that act kind of like air traffic control. We're here to help set up association leadership for success. If the board is not paying attention to their duties, if they're not planning in advance, or don't reach out for help, the association crashes into the mountain range of expenses. Then it's special assessment time. It's uncomfortable, everyone suffers, and that happens when the flight crew is just not doing their job. They're not flying the plane, and they're not getting regular and wise counsel from air traffic control. Okay, so we understand the metaphor at this point. Let's look at some different mountain ranges of expenses that boards need to face. Each association's mountain range of expenses is going to be unique. These are 30-year expense maps from some of our completed reserve studies that we're going to take a look at. We're going to see some of the different challenges facing different board members, and we're going to note how each will require some different behavior. You have to know your upcoming mountains. You have to plan for your particular mountain range of upcoming expenses. This association has some near-term expenses, and then another big peak in about 10 years, and then the largest big expense year, it's about 30 years away. This association has a significant climb in less than 10 years. The hope is that they're already at least halfway to financially prepared for this big expense. This association has their big expenses just over a year. Fortunately, they've hired us to help craft a plan. Unfortunately, they've ignored this upcoming project for the last 20 years. So our plan is going to be a significant special assessment. This association has a lot of expenses each year, with a good scatter of expenses through the years. They need to be regularly moving lots of cash into reserves in order to stay ahead of all these projects. They need to develop a war chest for that last 10 years. You can see now that it would get painful if they aren't preparing in advance. This chart looks scary, but really it's a lot of expenses just about every year. So again, just keep moving cash towards reserve. it almost never lets up. There's always some big reserve project coming or coming up on the next year. There's a different type of association, plenty of reserve expenses spread out throughout the years. The challenge at this association is that they've got the risk of becoming complacent. So they have some rest years and then big expenses, and then some rest years and then big expenses. But there's never any off season and there's never any rest. So those are the years that you prepare for the big expense years. Same lesson here, lots of peaks and valleys. The years with low reserve expenses are the years where it's important to prepare for the big expense years. If homeowners start seeing that they're putting a lot of money into reserves, they're not seeing a lot of projects done in the intervening years, they can get noisy, and it's on the board to explain what's happening. If a new board comes along and lowers the assessments, you just trade lower assessments for a big special assessment in the future. We're back to our airplane. Every board, every association, you have a unique mountain range, unique peaks and valleys of expenses. Remember, they're coming up fast. There's nothing you can do to slow them. There's nothing you can do to stop them. The deterioration is going to happen in your physical assets. Hire a reserve study professional to help you prepare. There's not really a good excuse to be surprised by a roof that's going to fail. It's on schedule. It has a budget. It's in plain sight. Get help to prepare years in advance and to be ready.
At Association Reserves, we make the present less stressful and the future more secure. If you want to join us in this mission, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see us address in a future video. Let's plan for your best future.